All right, Gary, how you wanna kick it off?
Let's go, Mr. Hawaii.
Steve?
Yeah, is this annually you bring back former players? Is this what you're doing this week with guys working out and playing with the guys?
Yeah, so a lot to unpack, right, as far as value for what the next 2 days are going to mean for us. And I think it's important when you're in this position to try to bridge any gaps that may exist between current and former. And this is certainly an opportunity for us to do that. We have other events throughout the course of the season, but I think when you have a chance for our guys to, play against and get coached by and work out with former players who are currently playing, there's so much value in it. It's one thing to have dinner, which we'll do. It's another thing to have meetings and stuff. And when you can do it between the lines, I think it's really, really special. So I care deeply about our former players. We owe them a sense of gratitude for us being able to have unbelievable facilities and to be able to sell an unbelievable tradition. And so this program should always be a home for them. And we want to make them feel as home as possible, as often as possible. So it's great to see multiple generations in the gym. Some guys who are, maybe not so engaged in between the lines as some others, but just being here and watching, and we'll have dinner tonight. It couldn't be better.
Addition to former players, saw former coach in there too, getting Thad Mata back over here. How did that come about? What's it like to see him back in the gym here?
Yeah, that's been it's been a long time coming, and his influence on me as a coach and as a man is I've spoken about that before. He means the world to me and our family, and he means a ton to our basketball family. So, being able to get him back here says something, I think, about just how close this basketball family is. And he's in the rafters, he's in the record books. I've talked about the peaks of our program. He's certainly been a part of some of those. So for him to be here, it means a great deal to me personally, but it also means a great deal to our program because he's a guy we celebrate around here.
Does a time like this make you reflect on that era and what Ohio State basketball was when you started working here, when Thad was here, when Dave Richardson was here, when Will was here? You got a lot of guys from that time in this building right now. Does this make you reflect on what was going right for Ohio State when you guys were playing at that time?
Absolutely. I think you kind of have one or two options, right? When you take over a program, you can either hide from the success and the tradition or kind of keep it behind the curtain, or you can celebrate it and you can strive to get the program back to that level. That's the route I've chosen because I care deeply about this program. I've seen what it's meant to my family, my brother's experience. I've watched those peaks as a fan. I've watched those peaks with great investment when my brother was playing, and so absolutely want to celebrate that. When you have someone who's been a part of that and who's also, in the upper echelon in their respective space, and Dave Richardson, bringing him back was a major win for us. You have a guy who just finished playing professionally, who was part of some of those peaks, who's got this ability to relate and connect with our players. Bringing Will Buford back was a major win for us. So that's why those guys are here. Certainly, it's a reminder of where this program has been, but they're here because they're going to help us win and they're going to help us take this thing to the next level.
What's the response from the players, the former players, when they get welcomed in like this?
I think they love it, and I think you see some of these guys don't get to see each other very. I mean, we got David Lighty in here, who's going on year 50, I think, of still playing, but looks like he probably just finished, playing a couple years ago at Ohio State. So having, reunited, creating a space where guys can reunite. Now, a lot of these guys are texting each other and FaceTiming each other. I'm fortunate to be a part of a couple group messages that get to be pretty entertaining. But I think providing a space where they can see each other, hang out, give back to the program, it's great, and it's always received well. I wish we could do this 10 times a year. I wish we could find a window that fits everybody, because there are a ton of guys who wish they could be here who just couldn't make it happen. And so it's hard to decide when exactly we're going to do it. We try to just figure out the opportunity that creates the window for the most guys to come back. But this is some of my favorite days of the entire year, and the dinner tonight will be special.
How empowered?
Speaking of David Lighty, your thoughts on 5 for 5 and how it impacts this program, and just how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I wish I could coach David Lighty. If there's some way to, sue somebody to get him to finish his career at Ohio State. But listen, I think it's a little early to kind of tell all the nuances of how it's going to be impactful. I think the attempt to provide some structure is important and needed, so that's good. We all know there's going to be some back and forth now, right, because of this. Hopefully we get specific clarity. This is a great step forward, I think, for that. Hopefully that's the case, right, when it comes time to start building your roster for next year, that clarity has already been settled, and that's all we really want, is to know what you're going into as you put your roster together. So it's a good step forward. Hopefully, as some of the stuff back and forth happens, we'll get that clarity we all want.
How empowered are these former players to come in here and get after guys, to coach, to really go after these guys? How empowered do you make these guys when they come in here?
I hit Scoonie Penn up and said, come back and work with us. I mean, the guy was an NBA assistant, was a point guard on the Final 14. So to have him in the gym, it's incredible. Greg Oden, he's kind of moved on to the next chapter of his life, but that guy is a basketball savant. He's really smart, and now he's out there giving back to our guys. And whether it's guys who were just connecting with our players before they started working out, guys who are working out alongside them, guys who are coaching them. I think it's all good, but absolutely having the ability to have some guys come back and just share their knowledge. And you're going to see, when you see this next group come in, they're going to be just as good. Jerry Sullinger is the same way. You see him whenever he's here in the off season. I mean, he's even watched film with guys before. They care so much about the program, and these are some of the all-time greats to play here. To have them back and sharing their experiences and knowledge it's invaluable.
Bruce will be waiting to maybe hear his name called tonight. How have you maybe communicated with him through the draft process? What do you think about his chances of getting picked tonight?
Yeah, we talked yesterday, texted again this morning. Listen, I think Bruce is an NBA player. I think every NBA scout I've talked to or NBA decision maker that I've talked to, I've told them, there's not a lot of guarantees in this, right? But I can guarantee you your head coach is going to love Bruce Thornton. And he's going to work hard every single day, and he's going to impact winning every single day. So we've gotten great feedback. There's a lot of excitement about him, his potential at the next level, and his future. We're excited to see, how that plays out. But, all he needs is just a kind of crack with the door open, and he'll bust through, and he's going to make it happen. There's no question.
When we saw you last week, LJ had just gotten here, got him a little more, ingrained. What did you see from him in the first week or so of his being in the program?
I know he's working because he's sore. He's let me know that. I think we've seen, between the lines, he's got a high basketball IQ. Just little things like being in the right position off the ball defensively. I mean, there's been some drills he hasn't even got to experience yet because we're installing different things, and so he's got an understanding clearly on both sides of the ball, which is important. And then his shot making is translated. He's already been able to make some shots with range, and so I'm excited. He and I talked. I said, "What do you think?" I said, "Man, coach, you're right. It's fast out there. It's physical." So that adjustment is going to take some time, but he's been a sponge. He's soaking everything in. He's picking things up quickly. But his basketball IQ and shot making have already started to translate.
Jake, you're talking about the legacy here at Ohio State. Thad Matta's back in the gym, some of the former players. We also brought in some transfers this year. What's that education process for them like when you're saying this is what the tradition of Ohio State is, this is what it means to wear the scarlet and gray? How do you guys educate those transfers?
Well, it starts in the recruiting process. When we're talking to recruits and as we recruited all these guys, we made them aware of the tradition of this program and made them aware of where we're heading. So they already know before they step foot on campus and start working that this is historically an elite program. Then when you walk up and down the halls every day and you see these names and you see these records and you see the winning, you see David Lighty and John Diebler and Evan Turner hug after Evan Turner shot in the Big Ten tournament against a team up north with family underneath that. Like, so now it comes to life when we get a chance to spend some time with them. So our guys are well aware of the tradition of this program. We make sure that before they get here, we talk about it while they're here. So I think whether you've been here for 3 years like Junie and Yvonne, or whether you've been here for 3 weeks like some other guys, you know and appreciate who's here today and tomorrow, what they mean to this program, and it's part of how we convince guys to come here, honestly.
The two guys you most want to see go one-on-one against each other?
Oh man, I think I'm interested to see the some of the matchups. We're a little bigger across the board on the perimeter and in the wing forward position. So there will be some enticing matchups with JaeSean Tate and Bryce Sensibaugh and EJ Liddell, and then maybe Anthony Thompson and Amari Bynum and some stuff. So then, got some really good bigs in the building today. It'd be good for our guys. Guard play. I mean, you can go down the line. It's all good. I'm probably going to ref for the scrimmage. So, just to make sure that we get a great whistle. And I say we, everybody, obviously. But no, I'm excited to see this. We have a really competitive group, and the purpose tomorrow is for us to compete. They're still going to be teaching as our guys are kind of playing against the pros, and we'll stop plays sometimes, and you'll have JaeSean talking to maybe Anthony explaining some stuff. But we're going to put a score up there and compete a little bit and play some maybe smaller games. It'll be a fun day.
That's
Good.
Appreciate you.
Good.